Planet friends. It's been a bit of a rough patch for Overwatch lately, hasn't it? From a content drought of nearly 3 years, all for the promise of a shiny and better tomorrow, we now learn that tomorrow isn't really coming. At least, not in the way it was promised to us. If the entire reason that they had to rework Overwatch into Overwatch 2 was because of the PVE mode and all the changes they wanted to make that went along with it, and that no longer applies and seems not to have applied for some time now, then what was the point of deleting a game that was quite beloved by many to replace it with an inferior model? Before we dive into the torrid affairs of Overwatch, if you'd like to stay up to date on all the latest news and reviews in gaming and entertainment, I implore you to consider giving me a like and subscribe. At the very least, I promise not to leave you contentless for 3 years, like Overwatch did. Now, let's get on to it. I'll be honest, I'm surprised that it's taken me this long to do an Overwatch video because I do think a lot of changes in Overwatch 2 have been rather ridiculous. But the fact is that I just don't have the same passion for Overwatch that I do for other games like Fortnite or Halo, which is kind of sad because I used to love Overwatch. I was never great at it, mind you, but I enjoyed playing it with my friends and thoroughly enjoyed the seasonal events and competitive mode. My main switched a lot depending on what changes they made to heroes. I've played a good bit with just about everyone, going from Mercy to Symmetra to my boy Roadhog before they nerfed him to hell in Overwatch 1. And when Overwatch 2 came out, I bought the Battle Pass and jumped in with Kiriko, who I enjoyed playing and think she's a unique healer. But that was also the only Battle Pass I've purchased, because I just ended up playing it enough to get very far in it, and the reason is simple. Overwatch in 2023 is still the same as Overwatch in 2016, only the monetization is far worse and we've lost the tank. I've never had 5 friends to play a game with, or many friends at all to play with now that I think about it, so losing a slot wasn't the worst thing for me. Though I do know that a lot of people were affected as friendships were forged over that game, but to me removing the tank does make the game seem to go faster, so I'm not actually against it. What I am against, however, is the way that they monetize the game. Battle Pass, that's fine. Granted, I feel like it could use a lot more work to make it feel, I don't know, worth it. And locking a hero behind the Battle Pass seems like a horrid idea. Because I haven't bought the other two and I don't play that much, I don't get access to the 2 heroes that have come out since then. And it does sort of cause a pay-to-win scenario where, because I bought the Battle Pass at the beginning, I had access to Kiriko and was playing against people who didn't because they didn't have the Battle Pass. So they had to either grind up to a bunch of levels to get the free one, or wait for her to be made more accessible at the end of the season. The other issue I have is with just the price of the skins. The same thing I've said about Halo Infinite. It is ridiculous to think that the skins that you pay for, you don't even see in game and are costing $20 or more. I get that loot boxes are divisive, and yes, I would much rather pay directly to just get the content I want than gamble for it. But the pricing has to make sense. In a typical event period, if I dropped $20 on loot boxes for the event, I would typically get a decent amount of content for that $20. Usually a few skins of that season, typically the majority of voice lines and sprays, and some of the emotes. Let's take a look here at the wiki. Back in Overwatch 1, if I didn't feel like grinding out the free boxes, which you got at every level up, or from doing the event quests, I could spend $20 and get 24 boxes. With 4 items in each box, and the chance of duplicates decrease, that means I would get 96 items for that $20. Now, it might not be many of the items I wanted, but still, 96 is a lot. And if I did get duplicates, I got credits to then use directly to purchase the item I did want if I had enough. Now let's take a look at Blizzard's new pricing model. So instead of loot boxes, I can buy coins. So for $20, I can get 2,200 coins. Now let's back up and go to the shop and see here. For 2,200 coins, I can get this mega bundle. Let's see what we all get for that $20 now. We've got 2 skins, 1 emote, 2 icons, a voice line, and a spray. Let's see here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 items. So for $20, we get a whopping 7 items in this mega bundle. versus the 96 items we would have gotten with loot boxes. Which, keep in mind, during the season events, which was the only real time they launched new content, those boxes would only give you items from that event and the previous, events of that type. So do you see how bad this is? I want to rant about this more because it's pricing like this in games such as this and Halo Infinite, which is really bringing them down. Not to say that there's not a myriad of other issues that are bringing them down, but this is definitely one of them. Instead, though, let's talk about the other common denominator between the two titles: broken promises and roadmaps. The major reason that Overwatch 2 was announced as a replacement to Overwatch 1, and the reason we supposedly had a content drought for nearly 3 years, was because Overwatch 2 was supposed to come with an expansive PVE mode, one in which characters would have different abilities that you could customize to your liking, and a narrative story to go through. Now, story missions, as we know them from the Blackwatch missions, are still going to be a thing. And when they do come out, I'll likely check those out, because arguably, to me, the best thing about Overwatch is its lore. And the beautiful cinematics they do for the story, which just get you right in the feels every time.
Monsieur, does this mean Overwatch is back?
Yes. Yes, we are.
But the Heroes mode, the newer concept, and the one that they said that they had to use a new engine for, is not coming. At all. It has been fully scrapped, because apparently after almost 4 years of work on it, it's still not ready, and they don't have a time frame for when it will be ready. So instead they are scrapping it to focus on what they can do about the live service model, which they currently find themselves in. And that's just bullshit. I don't doubt that it is likely hard to do what they want to do, and I have absolutely zero context for what goes into making something like that. But you cannot tell me that a company as big as Activision Blizzard, and who makes as much money as this company does, cannot afford the manpower to find some sort of middle ground between absolutely zero content for 3 years for Overwatch 1 and another half year of Overwatch 2's release date, just now getting told we aren't getting the thing that they essentially killed the original Overwatch for. A lot of people are pissed, and rightfully so. Game companies as of late have gotten so complacent with pushing back content, offering patches, or just straight up getting rid of it if they cannot produce what was promised. And when gamers get upset, it is usually treated as, oh, gamers are so sensitive and toxic, which, yeah, let's be fair, a vocal part of gamers absolutely are, but that doesn't mean that the points they're making aren't valid. I truly believe that instead of having the original Overwatch language without any content, endlessly churning out the same events over and over again, without any new content, if they had just continued to focus on it and keep the momentum it had in the beginning, we would likely have a much better game than what Overwatch 2 supposedly gave us. Instead, we are left with a game that has taken more than it has given. We've lost a tank. We've lost player cards at the end, which gave a sense of community. We've lost the on fire system. We've lost free earnable loot boxes. We've lost player levels. And now we've lost the only new content that was supposedly actually going to make Overwatch 2 a sequel game. I haven't been on Overwatch 2 since the release of the second season, mainly because I just don't find any passion in it anymore. There's nothing new in Overwatch, and quite frankly, I just don't want to play a game that is 7 years old now, when I have games that are just as old but getting updated far more frequently in new and interesting ways. That's all I've got for now, guys. What are your thoughts? Are you still playing Overwatch 2? If so, what do you think of them scrapping the PvE mode, and which did you prefer? Overwatch 1's loot boxes or Overwatch 2's shop? Until next time, guys. Bye!